Hello, and welcome to Learning Science by Being a Scientist. In this video, we're going to explore how and why scientists obtain and communicate information. If you think about obtaining information, you might think, that doesn't sound very much like science. That sounds more like reading a bunch of books or taking a bunch of notes in class. What's so scientific about that? Well, when scientists obtain information, it is not for the purpose of memorizing some fact or definition. Scientists obtain information for a purpose. A scientist obtains information because she is going to use it to help her answer her question, which, remember, is what science is really all about. There are many different ways scientists obtain information. One way is from learning from other scientists. Scientists will often attend classes or presentations from other scientists to help them gather the information they need. Another way that scientists obtain information is from different informational sources. These can include informational texts, such as scientific papers or texts, as well as videos about topics related to their questions, and models that represent different phenomena related to what they are studying. And let's not forget about all those investigations and experiments we've talked about before. One of the key ways scientists obtain information is through the investigations they carry out to answer their questions. All of these things can be sources of information. Remember, though, that the scientist is obtaining all of this information not because they have to memorize a bunch of facts or definitions, but rather she is obtaining this information for a purpose, to help her answer her question. Sometimes the scientist might need this information to help support her hypothesis. Remember how she needed to learn something about different fertilizers before she could make her hypothesis about which one she predicted would be the best? Sometimes the scientist might need this information to help her develop a model. Remember how we said scientists use the information from experiments, investigations, and research to develop models that show why something happens or how something works. Sometimes the scientist will need this information to help her construct an explanation of how or why something happens. Remember how scientists needed to know something about forces and gravity in order to construct an explanation about the phases of the moon? And sometimes she needs this information to help connect her claims to her evidence through reasoning. Remember how she needed information about runoff, sediment, and ground cover to support her claims about how the lack of cover was harming stream habitats? All of this information is useless, however, if the scientist does not communicate it. It would be like knowing something really important, but never letting anyone else know what you discover. One way scientists communicate is through presentations. Scientists often present their findings in front of their fellow scientists, as well as members of the community and the news media, as a way to help others understand what they have figured out. Another way scientists communicate is through written reports. Scientists write about and publish their discoveries, models, and investigations through written reports so that the scientists and others can read the details about what they figured out. Scientists can also use their models to communicate. Remember that models are used by scientists to illustrate ideas that are sometimes complex or abstract, too big or too small, or just too complicated. Remember, though, that the point of communicating all this information is not just to show that scientists know a bunch of memorized facts about something. Just like she obtained the information for a purpose, she is also communicating it for a purpose, to provide the answer to the question she is investigating. There you have it. Scientists obtain information through different means: research, models, experts, and they use that information to help them with all sorts of things, supporting a hypothesis or a claim, constructing an explanation, or developing models. And finally, they communicate that information so that others can learn from their efforts. Thanks for watching. Come back soon and watch more videos about what scientists do. And remember, the best way to learn science is to be a scientist, and that means doing what scientists do.